Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our Sunday Father's Day edition of Concept Art Design in VR. I am your host, Seth Rutledge. I hope you guys are doing well. So the last couple weeks I've been doing almost exclusively hard surface stuff. Lots of spaceships and vehicles and rooms and all that kind of thing. And yesterday I wound up making kind of like a marshy tree landscape, and it was all organic, gluten free. It was awesome. Had a really good time with it, and I think I'm gonna do something organic again today. But also this week, my friend Clark Huggins has this thing called the Reckless deck, which is a card deck of various prompts for drawing. He started with a character one, but he made a worlds one that I actually helped him out a little bit, kind of come up with some ideas for, and he very generously sent me a copy of it that came this last week. And I've been wanting to play with it to come up with some ideas for working on stuff. It's kind of the point to something like this. So today I pulled a couple cards out since I can't do it while I'm in VR. And I admit I cherry picked a little bit just to kind of make something that I felt like I could do in the stream, and I didn't have hard surfaces because I wanted to play with natural stuff. But I pulled three cards, and I got cave, ravine, and statue or monolith were the three things. And this is definitely kind of hitting my I don't know, low, what do they call it? It's not low fantasy, that's the word. Yes, the low fantasy thing in me, sort of your Conans, your John Carters of Mars, that kind of stuff. So I think we're going to make that sort of environment and play with it today. First thing I'm going to do is kind of try to sketch out a very basic shape of what it could be. And I'm going to use a text shape just because I want a wall thing. It's not that I actually want it to be techie in any way, but I'm just gonna see. It doesn't look techie, but I want to build my ravine at least initially to get an idea kind of what it could be. And I'm definitely going to be inspired by some trips I've taken into Arizona. Um, some and not to mention, as I said, the John Carters of Mars, the Conans, that sort of thing. So I am spraying at this point instead of just using the move tool. I think I might go to the move tool in a minute, but I just want to start actually just sort of building some things along like that. That's like one side of it. Okay. Let's go to the move tool now. Set it as my default again. And bring up the inner radius, active layer only. Not 100% inner radius, but almost. And let's just start shaping some stuff a bit more. And so the question to think about is with this is, do we want to make the whole ravine, or do we want to sort of feel like a ravine and then allow for the cave? So like, are we going to think of it as like a stage set versus a full environment? And then we got to figure out how we're going to do the cave too. And I think I like that. I think this is where my cave is going to be. We'll take that stretching as a sign that the cave should be here. There's our cave entrance. The whole thing down. See, it's still fairly small, which is good. And let's quick save. And let's just check what our polys are for right now. 400,000, so like nothing, which is great. That's how it should be. And we're going to need to fill in because we don't want this stretched look that you get here. Although it does kind of look like a water eroded area, so it's not awful. But I kind of want to. It's going to have more rocks, and I'm going to put some rock shapes in here too. But That's pretty cool looking, though. This would be a good set. You know, it doesn't have a full ravine on it at this moment. And we're gonna definitely need to fill that in here. It almost looks like striations of the rock, which is cool. If you've been to Arizona or whatever, you see the rocks do have this kind of like, you know, linear look to it as they go across, and that's neat. Yeah, that's awful, but okay. It just doesn't look like real rocks yet, but we're working on it. It's gonna get there. We've only been doing this for 2 minutes. Sometimes you gotta turn off your inner editor and just trust yourself. Just enjoy the process. So, one thing I think I will do is kind of turn this along here like this more. So we get that feeling of ravine versus like inner cliff area. So the ravine's gonna come along on this side too. But I think we're gonna leave it more as a set than as an actual, like I'm not gonna build a physical space. I'm gonna make that a little higher to give me some more room to play in. Definitely gonna need to add some rock stuff, but this is just our base sketch layer to see what it's gonna look like. And now we need to do a cave on the backside and go into it. This is the cool thing about VR, man. Like I can actually make this space, 3D in general, really, of course, but it's gonna actually have a cave. We're gonna zoom in, and we're gonna. If you like it, then you should have put a roof on it. You know, and we're in the cave. Filling it in. And that hole there. Okay, so there's our cave, and we come out of it. I see I've gone a bit beyond, but that's fine. So, and then human scale, I'm thinking, is about like, if we're looking at like this is about how it's going to be. So if I were looking at a real size, it's a little higher than a man, and that goes around, and it's up there. Yep, that's cool. Ground is here, like that. Yes, I'm feeling this as an environment. It feels suitably vast. I like it. And then we bring it back down, and it's only about that big. All right. So this is our starting point. It's our base sketch. Now let's add on to it. I'm gonna stay with just this. I'm not gonna go down res again. I'm gonna stay up 1 res. So we started with -1 res. So now we're at 0. If you think of it in that sort of sense. I'm gonna go grab some of these beautiful rocks that come with medium. God, it's such a good tool. And we're gonna set to single, but I'm gonna set my stroke taper to scale for when I want it later. But right now I just want some rocks. I'm going through and I'm just gonna kind of tighten up this edge here to start with. That's a little too looks the same. Trying to turn my hand like this so I get essentially different rocks. It doesn't feel just like the same one every time. And then that's as big as it'll get, which is fine. Let's we can stretch a little bit without getting too much of that like warped look. So let's stretch some. And then go back in and place some more. Yeah, down. I'm still just on the one rock. I'm gonna go to some different ones too. And let's grab a different rock. So we're on that. We're using flat sharp B. Let's go to rock large, rock lobster. Um, yeah. And these cave walls, these canyon walls in Arizona, kind of actually do this, right? Like it's pretty smooth in parts, and then there's just like rocks sort of sticking out randomly. So this is not unrealistic to that. I'm gonna go with a new layer, simply because I might want to have some variation in rock textures. So it just makes it easier for me to, in Keyshot, put a different rock texture on it. Not that I'm doing anything different, but there we go. This is gonna be pretty quick, honestly. This kind of environment is super fast to make in this tool. So much so that you almost kind of like, should I do something else? Maybe. Like, is it not cheating, but is it a good, I got to do? But I think it's Sunday. It's Father's Day. The weather is gorgeous out here today. Finally, it's Canadian, so you'll get it in Celsius, but it's like supposed to be like 27 today, which is mid 80s. Thank God, and sunny. I'm so happy. Um, I I'm a summer guy. I really, really am. I may live in Vancouver where it's rainy and dreary and crap weather for 10 months of the year, but I mean it's good for Canada. Um, but I really, really, really like the summer months and the sun. I'm hugely more into that. All right, let's just kind of put a rock here. So there's our like entrance to our ravine, or our ravine. We're walking down along like there, and we come along, and here's our cave. Um, yeah, let's go with one more rock. Let's go with a pointed rock here, and we're gonna put it like that. Actually, let's kind of make this our hero rock. So we'll upres it, which makes it smaller, unfortunately, but gives us a more. Can we stretch it though? Yeah, stay heroic. Yeah, and build around the bottom. Let's try setting, just to see what we get. Let's go to continuous now. And add some rocking like that. It's gonna like, this is like our boulder that's gonna lead in from a movie perspective to, that's a little too obvious. To our space. It's also kind of gonna be where I think we're gonna put our monolith. Because it kind of looks like a monolith or a statue there, right? Um, but there's our layout, and I think that's pretty cool. I like this. Go back up to here, and just no, that's a little too much spray in there. Less is definitely more sometimes. Um, that, yeah, okay, yep. Um, so okay, we got our cave. We have a monolith actually already, but let's see if we can do something cooler with it. So now I want to make a sense that this is a built cave versus, or not a built cave, but an occupied cave. Let's go up twice. And we got these shapes here that are kind of cool. And they're basically, I'm gonna go to single. They're sort of carved rocks, right? So it's not, that's kind of angling out a little bit too much. Let's angle back in, but not that much. Like that. So, like, okay. This is like someone, there's clearly some kind of a something there. Can we grab those? Switch it up a little bit. Yep, there we go. So our cave has an entrance. And I'm gonna go back to another new layer just to kind of get this a bit bigger. And there. So now it feels intentional. I want to use the same shape for a monolith. Ooh, I kind of like that. I wasn't really thinking it, but I kind of like it. That's cool. Okay, so we've now met the needs of our prompt. So now it's about making it cool. I think we're going to add, even though this kind of feels like a desert environment to me, we're going to add a little bit of scrub to it. So let's go to Scout's amazing brushes or stamps. I keep wanting to call them brushes. Thank you again, Scout. These are awesome. I really, really enjoy them. And they make kind of really cool plant shape sort of things. Although actually, this time it might not even be a plant. This might even be just some more rock randomness. But a bump in there. Bump in there. Yeah, that's just feeling like rock to me still, but cool. And it kind of helps sort of level those edges out a little bit so then everything's not as like cut and dried, which is awesome. Okay, let's go with a new layer now. And just so I get a sense of it, let's go to a nice dull or yellowy green crap color. And let's just throw some scrubby plants. Here and there. Scrubby plant there. Scrubby plant there. More scrubby plant. I'm liking that one for this. That works out well. And then kind of in here. Just supposed to be a random brush. It's not really particularly accurate to plants, obviously. But even in Arizona, there's plant life in these deserty type spaces. I don't like that there though, but that I do. So let's throw some like just random crap in around here. No. Sure. Okay. Yes, that's looking good. This really comes down to your sense of design. It's just like, where do you want to put some stuff? How do you want this to go? That's feeling super cool to me, though. I really like it. Let's save it. What other cool stuff could we do with this sucker? Let's go another new layer. Increase the res once on it. So we're got to watch out for our space. We can't go too far because we can't actually cover the whole thing with at this level, but It's good enough. Okay, let's find another interesting shape. Just kind of look for something that's not maybe obvious that we could use as something else. I don't know what that is. I love that thing. These really are great stamps, and they're free on Gumroad. So if you're doing this kind of stuff, just go look up Gumroad stamps for Scout for Oculus Medium, and you'll find them. They're fantastical. She is the best. And I want to change the color. A bit more, not quite that green, a bit more green now. Goodbye. It's a different plant, essentially. It's gonna, so realistically, they're gonna grow towards the light. So we want to turn the angle so that the leaves, if that's what they are going away from the shadow and towards the light. Just a little bit there. Don't want to go nuts, but a soft hand is good for these kind of things. There we go. Okay. Cool. Another new layer. I want to try a little bit of man-made stuff, but I'm not exactly sure what. And by man-made, I do not mean mechanical. Here. I don't really want any mushrooms or anything like that. There's a shape that I can use. I could use that though. I think that'll be cool. And I want actually color. This is not the color it's going to be. I just need a color. Yeah, it's hard to line it up exactly. Small enough. Okay. You're like, what the heck is that, Seth? That is going to be some kind of like a Tibetan prayer flag streamer. Going down the edge. Like that. So they have laid in a shape. And actually, see this, make sure I'm on, yes, I am on my own layer, right? I didn't do that. Yep, let's duplicate it. And since I'm not on symmetry, I can actually use the move tool for layers. That's awesome. Duplicate it again. Bring it over here. Rotate around. And then, so we've got that like that. Yes, so cool. Let's see. I'm gonna merge these three into one. So now it's my like layer. And let's go back and shrink it down a little bit, and then just shrink it down a little bit more. Connect them together. Like that. Cool. And then let's see, another new layer. And We could go with the tried and true animal skulls. Always kind of cool. Let's set this to very pale. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what my human scale looks like. That's too green, but all right, fine. Let's stamp. Mm. There we go. We have skulls at the top. And we have a fallen skull there. Working for me. Working for me. Now, we're primarily standing the outside of this environment, or I could go in here and literally now, like, add as much crap as I wanted to in there. But I think I just wanted to have a cave back there. I don't necessarily want to show it up. But what I do want to do, and I just know this from how Keyshot works, is decrease the res. I don't need this at all high. I'm going to just create a sphere inside here. About there. I'm going to use it as a light. So it's on its own layer, but now that it's on, now I can just assign a texture to that, and that will be a light kind of coming out of the cave, which should make it cooler looking, give like a torch or something inside there. I think I want to go back to layer 1 actually, and stretch this a little further. So that I can set my camera up a little further away and still have ground. And I don't remember what other layers I want, so I'm just going to new layer. I'm going to add a few more rocks. And let's give them back just give them a gray texture. There's no reason to give them a texture at all, but this way it just makes it easier for me to find them later. And I'm gonna say layout. Just a couple of things like this. Around. Yeah, again, visual interest. And these are like, in a ravine, like in Arizona, these would be rocks that have been left over by basically flash floods. So they roll down the ravine, and I'm just gonna tighten that up a little bit, just in case. See, just to get work my edge a bit. It's never a bad idea just to kind of, if you can, subtly tilt the edges of your set in, because it just gives you a border that you can matte paint afterward on the outside from it, but it doesn't make it look like just a cut off thing you're going to have to deal with later. So like that. Let's go grab a different rock. Just a basic rectangular rock. Sure. Rock. Oh, okay. I think we're starting to hit to the edge of our size. I bet you this is getting huge. Let's see how many polys we're at. This is just a big space, even though I didn't. It's taken a while to save. Let's see. Export. 23 million polys. Yeah. Let's call this actually. I think I'm happy with it. So We have now reckless decked an environment, cave, ravine, and monolith. I'm going to take this, once it finishes thinking, I'm going to take this into Keyshot and texture it up and post it up on my Instagram. And yeah, I think my plan is to probably try to use Reckless Deck for this whole next week, one way or another, and just kind of see what I can get. So it will probably wind up being a combination of man-made and organic environments. And just going to see how, given a prompt, you can make something super cool. Look at this, where the shadow would hit that. That's going to be so cool. Yeah. I appreciate you guys following along. Like I said before, have a great Father's Day, great rest of your weekend, and I will be back Monday morning at 10 a.m. If you're watching on Twitch, please subscribe. If you're following along on my archive in YouTube, again, I post them all up there afterward, but you can watch them live on Twitch, so subscribe either place. Thanks a lot. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.